WRAG Radio of Wishwell, Pennsylvania was a low-power AM band station for the Algonquin Valley, owned and operated since the mid-1970s by Todd Rage. The station broadcast golden oldies and 60s rock until 1978, when Rage moved the station to the top of Culshark Mountain north of town. He switched the station to play all pre-programmed music and downsized to a staff of himself, his wife Mary, and his Army buddy Jim Johns. John served as a one-man news operation for WRAG from 1978 until midwinter of 1984, when he died in a car accident along the Erie Highway. John's death sent Todd headlong into 4 years of drug and alcohol abuse, a dark period that ended only after Mary threatened to leave Todd and force him to sell the radio station. By early 1989, Todd was considered the unofficial voice of the Valley, discussing county commission meetings, school board actions, local elections, and even gossip. In 2009, an aging and angry Todd Rage was showing no signs of retiring. The passing of the last 20 years did not deter him from showing his passions.
WRAG Rage Radio. Lasting for life with your host, Todd Rage.
Welcome back to the Todd Rage Show on WRAG AM Radio 58, real radio for northwestern Pennsylvania, and the times sure are changing out here in what was once the pristine Algonquin Valley. As many of you listeners know, I was born here 7 years ago, and with the exception of 2 spectacular years in the jungles of Southeast Asia serving this great land of ours, I've spent my entire life in and around the town of Wishwell, the seat of the county. I know every back road and every trail. I know where to get all the good game and all the hot fishing spots. And I've taken quite a few of you with me over the years. But it seems that the county commission is not content to preserve our rural paradise and think that they can bring us all a better life by selling out Old Man Vance's 200 acres and donating another 300 acres of county land for cookie-cutter starter houses. Now, I don't know about you folks, but I don't need 100 new families from up in Buffalo or down in Sealtown coming in here. You know why? Because when you build houses over there, you got to build malls over here. You got to build new schools. You got to hire more cops. You got to cut down more trees and pave over paradise for another friggin' parking lot. By the time they're all done, this valley will look like every other asphalt and concrete suburb you ever saw in your life. Now, despite the protests, the letters, the meetings, they just went ahead and did it. It's going to be a house and garden world superstore right smack dab on top of Old Man Vance's farmhouse and barn about a mile north of Wishwell. HG World Corporation just filed all the paperwork and plans signed by that snake of a county commission chair, that carpetbagger Jake the Snake Weldon. Jake ain't happy unless there's a Star Chucks or a McBurger joint on every corner collecting garbage and making everyone fat and stupid. Oh, hey, folks, I got a caller. And, Mary tells me it's none other than the Honorable Chairman of the County Commission, the guy elected to look out for our interests. Gather round because the great Jake Weldon has granted us an audience. Afternoon, Jake.
Hello, Todd.
Just satellite radio break? What brings you to WRAG country this afternoon?
Well, Todd, I've been getting a lot of grief from some folks citing your show as the source of their concerns, so I wanted to call you and discuss some of the things you've been saying on the air about me, about the commission, a lot of which is factually incorrect.
Well, that's just great. Factually incorrect. What is it about destroying the fabric of this community that I've gotten factually incorrect?
Well, Todd, we're not looking at hundreds of new families. The developers we've been working with are looking at 42 units in patches that coexist very well with the land.
That's 42 to start.
Total. And each cul-de-sac will feature upscale rural homes with at least 2 acres. We're not going to level 200 acres of trees. We're creating branches off the Erie Highway that blend into the existing trees to avoid disrupting the wildlife or the natural beauty of the valley.
So you're promising that the 42 homes, that's it?
I'm not going to anticipate what the next commission will do or what it will take to set the books right.
See, you don't see long term. You put up a house and the money starts coming. When the money starts coming, everybody wants a bucket of it, so they sell off their values, and eventually trees start falling and the roads get wide, and who's to blame for that? The next guy and the next guy after that, or there won't be anyone left around who knew how good we had it.
How good we have it? Todd, the county has a 12.5% unemployment rate. That doesn't count the retired folks or the ones on disability. There's not an empty chair down at Ruby D's Diner Monday morning, but nobody can pay for the coffee. Think of the property taxes that 42 houses at $500,000 apiece will bring. Think of the revenue that 42 new families will bring to Wishwell and the local businesses.
Yeah, the local businesses that survive being run out of business by the HGW Corporation. Jake, their range of products reads like a hit list for all the local shops in the valley. How's it going to help if Burt's Lumberyard or Ike's Gun Shop or the plumbers, masons, and carpenters of the region run out of work because HG World comes in and demolishes the market?
Did you know that when HG World outlets come to town, they put 5% of their gross revenue back into the community? They have an exclusive contract with the developers of those 42 units to furnish every brick, every plank, every pipe, and shingle for the job. They're not only going to pay to build up the Erie Highway, but they're going to do what you've been asking us to do for years. Fix up Main Street in Wishwell. Finance a new trade curriculum at the regional VOTEC.
Recruiting for a career in yellow aprons selling snowblowers.
Maybe. But we can't all sit up on the mountain with a microphone and complain, can we, Todd?
I don't want to hear that. Now, I served this country and I served this community longer than you've been alive.
How are you serving the people by telling them the only way to live is to let the community drown in debt rather than adapt to the economic reality? It isn't just our town or community. The governor is going to cut services to county and municipal agencies, charge us more for things like 911 coverage and the state police patrols. We can't be self-sufficient anymore. We need to reach out beyond the valley for help. Mark my words, Todd. HG World is going to save this town.
What about the reservoir and the power plant? We own those, don't we? Can't we capitalize on those assets?
We have an awesome hydroelectric plant at the top of the valley. The co-op we own as a county means everyone in this valley pays pennies for electric, compared to people anywhere else in the state. We've got the power of nature keeping the lights on, and enough of it to sell outside the valley and maybe fill some of the holes in our budget.
So why aren't we?
Well, there isn't an easy fix. The commission could up and lease the power to Pennsylvania Power Corporation and rake in the cash, but their terms mean we would have to make everybody PPC customers and bill our residents PPC rates. I can just imagine how you'd react if we raised electric bills in this county 300%. Right now, if you fall behind, we just put it on your tab. PPC? Not so nice about it. We were able to lease off access to the reservoir and sell some power to places like Big Hickory and Troubleton. That helped a little, but once we lost the revenue from the Vance farm...
Well, maybe if you hadn't let the bank foreclose on the farm, maybe offered some help in revitalizing it.
How are we going to do that, Todd? Out of one side of your mouth, you say you don't want government offending your precious libertarian ideals, but when good men like Victor Vance lose their business, you complain that government didn't do enough. We had no idea they were behind on loan payments until the bank had trucks up the hill carting off livestock and equipment. You and I went up there together that day, begging the suits to work with us, remember?
Yeah, well, maybe we all dropped the ball on that one.
Maybe we did. We did what we could and convinced the courts that our claim to back taxes made the property ours before the banks. They've got everything but the land. Now we've got to make that land profitable.
Look, the bottom line, Commissioner, is that you want to bring in city folks, build up the valley, and turn it into another suburban sprawl. It just ain't right.
The commission agrees that we want the residents in this county to be able to keep what they have or at least stop bleeding out. Without the Vance farm, the Klein Dairy closed. The feed store Victor kept using instead of taking direct deliveries closed. They hadn't been paid in 9 months, and the only reason they kept delivering feed was because they had no other customers. Then they stopped getting feed because they weren't paying their suppliers. All the other small farms along the Erie folded decades ago. If we don't do something soon, you won't have any listeners except for old Joe and Jack at the Sunoco station.
So what you're saying is that with all your higher education, you can't fix any of this?
No. If we want 21st century services, we have to pay 21st century prices. The fire department has outdated patched-up equipment. The police don't even have cell phones. If someone on the mountain needs paramedics, the response time is 3 times most other communities in the state. The only ambulance in the county couldn't pass the inspection last year without $3,000 of repairs. How else are we going to raise the money? A bake sale? Raise taxes?
Oh, hell no. But it's your job to preserve the integrity of the community and lift us out of the hole. You ain't doing that great a job of it, kiddo.
How do you propose we keep up with the rising costs? How does the great and powerful Rage think we should fix all this? Please tell me, because those of us on the commission are too thick and stupid to understand your master plan.
Because you lead a corrupt bunch of city folk who couldn't hack it there, so you figure you can take over our part of the world, because we're just a bunch of backwater hicks. You came in to see what your corporate connections could buy, and you changed the laws so that companies like HGW can come in.
Oh,
You didn't sell the bank from Gut Valley. You prevented them from taking what you wanted to steal for HGW.
Even in your angriest illusions, you can't believe that. There are 5 people on the commission. We've all lived here at least 10 years. The people voted us in over people who were here longer, and they have a chance to vote us out every 2 years, but they haven't. Why do you think that is, Todd?
Some serious palm greasing, I figure.
Todd, I did everything I could to save Victor Vance's farm. I even loaned him money to try and catch up on his property taxes. A lot of us did. The county even retained an attorney to try and sort it all out. But even if we'd fixed the tax problem and held a bake sale to pay off the $2.3 million he owed on his loans, let me ask you, man, how long would it have lasted? When Victor's back finally gave out, a lot of us, including you, Todd, stepped up to help. But his boys aren't farmers. When Victor died, the farm died with him. I don't hear you railing on Dave and Ray about leaving the community.
Hey, those are good kids.
Of course they are, Todd. Listen, I may not have lived here as long as you, but we've had a few beers at the Eagle. I've had you and Linda over to the house, and every time we've crossed paths, I've asked you, how can we fix this? I don't want to turn this place over to corporations. That's why I left Philadelphia. But I don't have other options. I'm asking everyone in the valley, even Joe Martz up on the mountain, what can we do to fix this?
Well, we'll keep talking about all that after a word from our sponsors. The very people that Jake Weldon will likely put out of business by this. The fine folks at Cameroon Plant Farm, locally owned and operated for over 75 years, offering everything for your gardening and farming needs just off Route 72. We'll be right back.